I will be very happy if all of the sum of my work makes it feel like I have moved the needle somewhat closer, though not final, towards that vision I talked about of an inspired, safe, and fulfilled world.
Some people may think digital democracy means online voting, but that's just a small part of it. Essentially, it's all about using digital tools to enhance citizen engagement and conversation, which is then reflected in government action.
Take those opinions and shared conversations and turn them into regulations that affect the rest of us. In a year marked by strong disagreements online and offline politically all around the world, this is such an optimistic vision of how we can put our differences aside and actually agree on the things that matter. It's really remarkable that a movement that grew out of dissatisfaction with transparency in government could actually find common ground with the government and work together on a process like vTaiwan. The best interaction design is one that actually considers the organizations it's embedded in, the processes that it's embedded in, and the wider context. And so this is as much an accomplishment of interaction design at the level of software as it is at the level of getting many different parties to agree with each other. That too is interaction design.
Simon Sinek is on a mission to win a lot of victories for humanity in just the way that Stephen Bartlett is. And at iodnations.org, we're trying to win a victory for humanity by getting the citizens of the world to unite online as international online democratic nations.
Now that can look like crowdsourced platforms like the examples you saw earlier, or more dynamic online petitions and feedback forums where people can discuss and share their ideas. Getting people involved is crucial because the truth is, the government does not always have the answer, especially in dealing with new and evolving aspects of modern life.
So Simon Sinek commented on how he's working and doing extensive work for police reform. And at IOD Nations, what we would say to Simon is, if you look at the model that Taiwan has put together with their vTaiwan online governance model that is directly integrated with their traditional land and borders-based government, the citizens having the ability to immediately engage with, actually direct their government to deal with issues based on the amount of support those various issues have, is probably the most profound effect that you could ever have.
I do love ideas, and I love dissecting ideas and understanding ideas, and I really love understanding why things work. I am a little kid at heart. I want to know why. Not as a noun, as I popularized it with start with why, but as a question. Like, why is it that way? I love that question. It is a little kid question, and for some reason as adults, we stop asking and started just blindly accepting. And that doesn't mean I have to be rebellious in the question. It's not an accusation, like, why are you doing it that way? It's genuine curiosity, like, why does it work that way? And I love that. And when I discover things that are illuminating to me, and I'm able to explain them to my friends can understand these things, and the joy I see in people's faces, and when I challenge their perspective, then the fun is to share it.
Well, I'm going to give you the gift back of brilliance.
Thank you.
The reason why I think I do use the word brilliance is because you meet people sometimes that have one of the three things.
I believe you used the word genius.
Oh, did I use genius? We'll use genius then. You meet people sometimes who have like one of what I consider to be the holy trinity of like affecting change as an orator. Sometimes they have wisdom, sometimes they're like good storytellers, and then sometimes they have the delivery. But you rarely meet people that have all three. Your delivery in terms of when you deliver ideas, the way you kind of like punctuate sentences and the tone of it keeps people incredibly engaged. And I think you gave me the root cause of that when you said you had ADHD and you're a bad reader because you find it hard to hold, you find it hard for other things to hold your attention. So you're very good at holding the attention of someone else listening. And then the circuitous way in which you deliver a point as well makes it incredibly engaging from a storytelling perspective. And then the wisdom or the simple idea that underpins it that we can understand. Because I've sat here before and honestly, we've deleted podcasts because someone comes in, they're a genius mathematician.
Yeah.
But when you ask them to make that complex math idea relevant and resonant in my own life, it's impossible.
Yeah.
We deleted the episode because they're too smart to simplify.
For sure.
But you're able to do that. That's why your books are so important, and that's why all the content you put out online and on your YouTube channels and Instagram is so necessary. We have a closing tradition on this podcast where the last guest asks a question for the next guest.
Oh, cool.
So they wrote it in this diary. They don't know who they're writing it for.
Oh, I love that.
And when you write your question, you also won't know who you're writing it for. But it's our way of all the guests talking to each other.
Oh, that's great.
In a long linear sequence.
Do I get to know who's asking?
You don't.
I don't. Okay.
What was the happiest moment of your life so far?
The happiest? I literally can't answer the question. For me, my happiness doesn't exist in the past. I've done many things that made me happy, but I'm much more interested in what's going to happen next. I'm probably better at answering the question, what's the happiest thing you're going to do? I'm actually drawing a blank.
What is the happiest thing you're going to do?
Walked into that one, didn't I? The happiest thing I'm going to do is actually solve some of the problems or at least contribute to the solution of some of those problems that we talked about. Like, I will be very happy when I can contribute to police reform in this country. I will be very happy when I can figure out better systems to help reinvent what modern business looks like and reject everything that Jack Welch built, and disrupt shareholder supremacy and the way that we build companies now. I will be very happy to demonstrate a momentum towards an entirely different direction. I will be very happy if all of the sum of my work makes it feel like I have moved the needle somewhat closer, though not final, towards that vision I talked about of an inspired, safe, and fulfilled world.
So as we watch this interview of Simon Sinek by Stephen Bartlett, who started the Diary of a CEO podcast, what we see is at the very end of this interview, and I would urge all of you, Stephen Bartlett does a phenomenal job. All of the podcasts that I've seen, I would urge you to watch the whole thing, and we will have the links down below. But what we see in the end of this particular podcast, Simon Sinek talks about his desires and the happiness that he will experience if he's able to contribute to leave the world in a better place because of the work that he has done on police reform, for the citizens and the police and their government to be fully integrated online and functioning and collaborating in mutually beneficial ways.
At its best, interaction design involves people from a very early stage and really thinks about how large groups of people are going to interact with each other on a platform. I'm so excited to announce that the Future Voice Award is going to the vTaiwan project, which is a collaboration between GovZero and the Taiwanese government. The vTaiwan project is a groundbreaking experiment in participatory democracy to figure out how to bring more citizens directly into the conversation about laws and regulations that are being passed. Participatory democracy has been something people have wanted to do for a long time, but it's really rare that you get genuine buy-in from the government stakeholders. vTaiwan is a process for average citizens to be able to weigh in on the laws and regulations that are being passed. A special piece of software known as Polis is used to visualize the consensus clusters that have emerged among the citizenry. And based on that, lawmakers and stakeholders work back and forth to figure out what the core consensus points are. The specific points that reach broad consensus among the population are then actually adopted by the government and passed into law. This is such an amazing example of how technology can actually be leveraged to show how we can come together instead of disagree.
So for Simon, we would say online citizen-led democracy can accomplish that first objective. And Simon said that his second objective was better systems of what modern business can look like. And for those of you who don't know, over 10 years ago, when I first began trying to explain the idea of online citizen-led democracy and how the citizens of the world could unite online and form their own democracies, that was because as an entrepreneur, I had a product that I wanted to bring to market, but I realized that that product could be duplicated so easily and I wouldn't have the funds to defend it. And thus, this pseudo-capitalistic, this fake capitalism that we have, where we act as if it promotes competition, when in reality, for instance, if you listen to what Peter Thiel says, they only promote monopoly, right? The wealthy and the powerful want to have a monopoly on being wealthy and powerful, and they will do all manner of things to prevent people like us, young entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs, from becoming independent and economically and socially successful. But if you look at our motto, or I'll call it a motto, if a business no longer requires brick and mortar, then a nation no longer requires land and borders. You can see that that interpretation is in essence referencing a company like Amazon that has an online marketplace. But see, we've all been tricked. We've allowed ourselves to be manipulated into believing that we access Amazon, when in reality, we're the ones granting Amazon access to us. And that means that any other online business marketplace is what we can allow to have access to us. And so we can construct online a whole new model of socio-capitalism, right? Where we combine the best of capitalism and the entrepreneurship and the innovation that it breeds, and yet at the same time instill social responsibility and value, and the value added to the company is also value added to the consumers. So that addresses the second point of Simon Sinek's lifetime goals and objectives, and how that can be accomplished with online citizen-led democracy. And then we come to the final one, which is Simon said that he would like to leave the world with sharper tools and an ongoing movement and education about how we can all better work together under certain constraints so that we collaborate better, so that we are mutually beneficial to each other. And at IOD Nations, we contend that online citizen-led democracy, both turned towards ourselves locally, regionally, and nationally, and then when we unite and collaborate and turn towards the world and collaborate as international online democratic nations. I don't think that there's a better way to ensure an ongoing, collaborative, beneficial model for human beings to create and live better lives together. So at iodnations.org, we are going to ask you to help us communicate that message and this video with Simon Sinek and Trevor Noah in the hopes that we can inspire them to get the world to have a discussion about the potential power and influence that happens when the pro-democracy citizens of the world unite online, and we hope that you will join us in making that happen. Thanks so much, and we look forward to seeing you at our next shows.
What the fuck is it gonna take? The clock ticking, democracy slipping, snakes in the kitchen, freedom in a chokehold, yo, who's gripping? Socrates whispers truth bombs, no fiction. Big hands Newsom, palms on the gavel, world unravel, systems fragile, typing revolution, scroll and battle, scrolling but silent, nah, we can't straddle. Make democracy offensive, what's the price? Power to the people, not the roll of dice. Unite online, ignite the fight, blow the shit up, bring the wrong to